Hello, my friend. So maybe you can see this. This is a mug. It's a rocket. Our mission to the moon picture. It's basically a mug from the Kennedy Space Center. One of my family friends visited last year. They gifted me this. So it reminded me of this. The famous words. Houston, we have problem. Remember that? It's one of the famous lines. So why am I saying this? So when we are in a difficult situation, that's what we need, right? We need help. Houston, we need help, basically. That's what it is. Now, for those, if I'm new to you, my name is RJ, and if you have not watched my previous video where I talked about how I went through losing almost everything for the $4.5 million business that I had acquired, and how I was able to navigate through. So from brink to breakthrough, how I did that. I'm going to put a link in the description if you have not watched it. I would say please do so, because this video we are going to talk about will have a reference to it. So now, in that video, I basically talked about the methodology I came up with to navigate through this difficult situation, and I call it BRINK, BRINK. B is for breathe, like take a step back, understand the situation, and then now the next R is what I'm going to talk about here, and R stands for reviewing reality. So once you stabilize, breathe and stabilize, now you will need to review the reality. So yes, we are in a bad situation, not a favorable one. We don't want to be in this, but it's there. We are there. What can we do? So that now reviewing reality is the first step. Before we can even find out what can be done about it, first we need to analyze where we are. Then we can say where do we want to go, right? It is like a map. So it's always your current location is important to give you the directions. So that's where we are. So that R is for reviewing reality. Now what happens is when we start reviewing reality, the first and most common reflection that we almost all of us get is, oh, something was not right. Maybe the economy was not right. Let's say I'm talking about my business failure, for example, business situation. Then I could be blaming economy was not right, the bank didn't do the right thing, my accountant didn't do the analysis that was supposed to be done, all kinds of things. So that's very natural to find out external factors that caused or put me in this situation. The other way around also sometimes happens is we start blaming ourselves, like, oh, I was not good about this, I should not have done this, I am not capable to do this, all kinds of these things. The point is, neither we should be blaming external factors or internal or ourselves. What we should be doing is doing the reality check, and that is very simple three-step process I'll tell you. And that is, first we need to identify the facts where we are, right? First we stabilize. Remember I gave you an analogy about a car accident of a racing car. It starts spinning until it comes to a halt. There is no way even agencies or whoever is ready to help can do something. It has to stop, stabilize. Then we say, okay, where we are, is it car is upside down, inside this, what is broken, what is not, what is possible, all kinds of things. So that fact check is important. So that's what we should do first. Identify where we are, and just take it for, without any bias, take a note of where what the situation is saying. Is the cash flow a problem? Yes, it is health a problem? Yes, it is the relationship a problem? Yes, it is. What kind of, so those are facts, and of course we need to go a little bit into detail, but I'm just giving a high level. First you accept the facts, identify the facts, and then you think about what decisions that took you to that fact. Basically, if you are in a situation where you did take some decision, like in my case, I took a decision that I will buy a business, or I will sign that paper. That was my decision that caused me and make this current fact a fact, basically, right? That's what brought me there. So what were those decisions, so that we are aware of what was that caused us to be in here, so that next time we are careful. So that is one. So that is identifying facts, identify the decisions that took you there, so that next time we are careful when we are taking such a decision. And the third thing now you want to make sure is what are the constraints. You see, there are certain things. Economy, it's not in our hands. It is going to happen. Fed government may change certain interest rates. They may come up with some policies. Tax codes may change. Those things are out of our control. So those constraints we should be at least aware of. Accept that this is not in my hands, which is fine. Now, what do I do with considering these facts, with the decision that I know that causes these kind of things, and the constraints that we cannot change certain things? What can be done? That comes as a next step, which is the part of the BRINK methodology. That's the next step. I identifying option, and that we'll talk about in the next one. But in this case, again, going back to our Houston problem, so without this analysis, and you don't have to do this analysis yourself. If you have some friends, family, spouse, whoever else can help you, your accountant, your team member, put together the minds and see what where we are. Reality check is very 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 important in order to go to identify what can be done now as a next step. So I hope you like this simple easy episode, but very helpful. There are two types of situation you might be in: either situation like me, which is um, you don't want to be in but you are, and what can be done now. So feel free. I'm going to put a link about my calendar, and as I always say, it's not about selling you something. Please don't consider that. It is more of one-on-one, that basically a talk, understand each other. And if you have any question, maybe I went through some experience, some learning lessons I have that I can help you with. If somebody had traveled a road and say, hey, look out, there are some potholes here, and that road won't take you there where you want to be, or be careful, slow down here and turn around there, think like, why not, right? So that's what it is for. Feel free to reach out, let's talk. Because that at least for me, it helped me. When I started talking to different people with some different experiences, they say, oh, I knew it, you should have done this. Oh, man, I should have known that earlier. So that's my point. That helps. And second, there might be people who where you are basically, who want to take some steps but are afraid of to go ahead and do it. So that also I want to make sure that your dream does have a value. You need to take action, but you are afraid of, oh, if I do it, look at what he said, if I go for a business, something might happen. Well, the reason was not the business, it was the way it was structured, that I had to give guarantee and all. Maybe there is another option. Maybe there is a way to still get a business but not put all your responsibility online. How about that? There are ways to do it. So that's what my point is. Once we talk about it, will find out what can be done. So I have lots of experience. I am in IT, I am in management, I have done different things. I am also an entrepreneur. I do even small things. I do, I learn myself, like the social media marketing and things like that I learned myself and I still enjoy. So there are so many things to share: financial aspect, in investing, options trading, things like that. I also check those things. So the point is, you don't know what, unless you talk, you don't know what you are missing. So my simple suggestion is, reach out, not just to me, I'm saying, but the right person who you think is the right one. But please talk, please understand. Either you need motivation, either you need just a clarification, or you need guidance. So something will happen. And until then, thank you so much again, and enjoy the day. Bye.